a long way from home. This is Brazil.
James McFadden scores for Scotland. The afternoon belongs to Lewis Vaughan. Make it 3. It's 3-0.
Hello and welcome back to season 3 of Joga Bonito. Callum, we have made our biggest signing of the transfer window for an undisclosed fee. Luke Maguire, what are you doing here?
It's great to be back, guys. Great to be back for another exciting season, and ready to get cracking.
Oh, Luke, I can't believe you're back. You know, I'll send there. I've always had a feeling deep inside you'd make your way back to the podcast. Fraser, what a comeback this is. This is like, I don't know who you can think of. Ronaldo going back to Manchester United. What's another big transfer return?
Oh, I don't good. Lewis Stevenson back to Kirkcaldy.
I mean, yeah.
Maybe. It's not really a return, but, you know, return to his hometown. It looks back home, essentially. One order of business, though, Luke, just before we kickstart this new season is, who's your team?
Oh, big question.
Callum's Wraith, I'm Ayr, you've been Falkirk Hearts. Who are you now?
Well, I'm working for Steny a wee bit this season, so got to back the Warriors, Monday Steny.
There we go. In season 4, I look forward to seeing who your fourth team in the
I'm rooting for that.
going to be. But Steny, that's it. You've heard it here first. Luke is following the Steny, which is perfect for us.
Oh, it keeps the championship contingency of this podcast alive
That's
and
it.
well.
All championship.
That's what it's all about.
Exactly. But we're not here today. Today we're here to discuss the Premiership. We did our championship preview last week. I've already made sort of predictions that I'm regretting. But as we said we would, we're now back for our Premiership preview ahead of the big one this weekend. And we're going to follow the same format as we did the other night. We've got our winners, relegation candidates, surprise package, and then player to watch out for. So this time we've got a third brain from Luke to pick apart the Premiership season. I'm looking forward to it.
No, I'm absolutely buzzing. Luke, how have you been keeping? You've been keeping a close eye on all things Scottish football, I hope, whilst you've been away.
Yeah, definitely. I haven't had my eye off it, to be honest. I had to do a wee bit more research this morning, just before we went on. Just a few transfers that I was like, "What did that happen?" I must have missed, but I'm excited to get back to it and looking forward to an exciting season in the Premiership, Championship, and all throughout Scotland.
I mean,
the football.
If there's one thing we always do on this podcast, it's our research in the morning, Luke. That's nothing new. We do that every time.
Prep. Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm doing the last minute prep.
You mean to say you're not winging it, Luke?
No, I've got my notebook ready and I've got a few notes just to.
It's a new and improved Luke Maguire.
That's it. Yeah. I'm improving.
Back as a new person.
Yeah.
I have to say, look, there's been quite a few. I was looking through the BBC. I've got a very handy transfers list for the Premiership teams. There was quite a few.
I was using the exact same thing.
I was watching highlights of Dundee earlier today as well. Not in the morning, in the afternoon for me, but I was watching Dundee highlights. And Alan Forrest isn't playing in the dark blue of Dundee. I missed that personally, so quite sad. I always thought he'd come back home. Thought he would do a Luke Maguire and come back to United. But
one day.
Obviously, he's wanting another crack at the Premiership. So yeah, I completely understand. We're not as across the Scottish football ongoings and transfers as Mr. Callum Rattray is. So yeah, we maybe get our news maybe a couple of days behind schedule, but all that matters is that we've got it, I guess.
I did see your man Alan Forrest scored for Dundee at the weekend.
He did. It's a lovely finish. Crazy that he only just signed and scored in the same day, and from my point of view. So yeah, big signing for them, I would say. But we'll come to them maybe later on.
We may well do.
But, Callum, how are you doing? How's life in the media team at a club like Wraith Rovers in the lead up to match day 1?
Very good, very busy. Looking forward to it. It's going to be a bit of a rivalry, me and Luke, this weekend. Coming to El San Starco for the game, Luke. I'll see you there. It's going to be...
Are we trip to Kirkcaldy? Are we trip to the
It's going to be
seaside?
good. It's going to be good. So we won't be pals for 90 minutes. But I look forward to it. And I just can't wait for the season to get underway. But as you say, we're here to talk all things Premiership today. And the Premiership starts even earlier. This podcast will go out on the Friday. We'll be honest, we're not recording on the Friday, but this is going out on the Friday, so we'll pretend it's Friday. And it's going to start. Rangers playing on the Friday night, and potentially a good place to start off with then, as we always do here, with the series that we did last year as well, was predicting our champion. Last year, I think I said Celtic coming into the year. I think we might have all said Celtic. I can't remember really. None of us said Hearts certainly though, and we did have a title race sort of for the ages there. But this year, who are we tipping? And if I can start, my team will be. I'm going to go Celtic again.
Yeah, if
What
I
about
can,
yourself, Fraser?
if I can back you up on that one, Callum, I think it's the most uninspired shout of them all. But I think last season sort of solidified exactly why we keep on predicting Celtic, because even when it looks like they won't, they do. So, yeah, for me, based on absolutely nothing other than the fact that they've done it 14 times out of the last 15, I'm going for Celtic as well.
Nice one. If I have to say, I have this feeling about Rangers just with their recruitment. I don't know why, but like I can see, they've brought in Lawrence Shanklin, they've brought in Cammy Devlin, but then they've also brought in Ben Godfrey, which I think he's still a solid defender. I think there was a lot of people that were saying that after they brought in Max Aarons last year, that would be the same kind of signing, but I think it's a wee bit different with Godfrey. I think him and then them bringing in Dan Neil from Sunderland, I think.
So, is your first contribution to the podcast to be Rangers to win the league?
Yes. I genuinely think they can do it.
Wow. I like it.
Don't mind it.
I don't mind it at all. I like a little bit of variance, but I'm not sure where I stand on it. I'm not convinced by anybody, if I'm being quite frank.
Yeah.
I would far rather make this prediction in 3 or 4 weeks' time once I've seen them actually play in a few competitive matches. At least the benefit of the League Cup is you can get a right good look at teams in the Championship. You can get a right good look at the teams in the lower half of the Premiership. But for those 5 teams that we've not seen yet, it's kind of their unknown quantities. Celtic are finally making signings. Not really seen much of them. Rangers are making have made a lot of signings, but only really played in friendly. So it is hard to predict. But based on just the evidence of the last couple of seasons, I think it'll be Celtic. Rangers have made what I think are quite sensible signings, but is it enough to overhaul Celtic? I'm not entirely sure. I would say no, but we're big Lawrence Shanklin fans in this podcast. So if anyone can do it, it can be him, I reckon. But yeah, I don't think I'm fully convinced. Just yet.
I think I'm the same. It's a big turnaround. I think the business still to come, potentially for both of the old firm teams, is going to be interesting. Rangers, on the one hand, I mean, you look at Yusuf Chamiti and Lawrence Shanklin as a strike partnership, on paper, Ryan Adiri as well. That could be a lot of goals. Like if Chamiti can show, really kick on from the flashes that he did show at times last season, and if Shanklin hits the ground running like you expect he would, and he links up well with a fellow striker. So I don't mind the shout, and obviously Derek McInnes has come in and he'll look to stamp his philosophy, and I think he's been a bit more honest than some of the previous Rangers managers and sort of talking about what the issues are in terms of if that's mentality basically. He has addressed that, and in doing so and trying to address that, he's brought Lawrence Shanklin, who's a leader, and Daniel, I believe, I don't know a huge amount about him, but I think he's captain Sunderland as well, hasn't he?
Captain
in the
Sunderland
past
and
as well,
Ipswich,
yeah.
So
Another leader coming in, and just to get some more vocal presence probably into that change room, which you need big characters at Rangers. That'll make a difference for them. I think I probably spoke Fraser's ear off about this in the last 6 months of the season when I did keep backing Celtic to win the league. I was had my eggs fully in the Hearts basket. I really wanted to do it, but there was just something about Martin O'Neill. I don't know what it was that just felt a bit inevitable, and that winning run sort of he put together towards the end of the season should carry over well to this year, and they've just got so much quality from throughout their team. It's obvious to say, like Kieran Tierney, obviously, you know, leading from the back like he did in the run, and Daiser Maeda being a big loss, but if Casper Hoch, I don't know if I'm saying that right, Fraser, you can help out with that one. I probably butchered that one there, but I've tried my best. If he can come in and sort of replicate some of the goals of Daiser Maeda, who didn't actually, you know, have an insane season in terms of the numbers, but that last 15 games he really obviously stood up and pulled his team to the title. So, as I say, business in the coming weeks. If Rangers were to make a big signing, like a Václav Černý, I might say, oh, that's potentially changing it up a little bit, a bit of delivery into that strike force I mentioned before. But for now, just like we did last season, I've had my little VAR check. All three of us said Celtic last year, and all three of us were correct in the end. Also, we all looked a lot younger a year ago as well. Luke, your hair was a lot shorter.
Wow.
But Celtic, yeah, I'm going for that. Just felt a bit inevitable, and I feel slightly the same this time around.
Yeah,
sorry.
No, I need to No.
I was thinking about Rangers as a whole. They've brought Finlay Curtis back.
Yeah.
From a great time loan spell that he had at Kelly. He went out to the World Cup. He didn't play too much in the World Cup, but having that loan spell, I feel like, has helped develop him as a player. He went to a pre-season friendly against the Kaiser Chiefs. I know it's just a pre-season friendly, you can't say too much. He got the equaliser. I think he could be a potential, feel like a new signing player for Rangers, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think he's just going to have a massive season. Like we spoke about, I'm big fans. I was actually listening to the BBC podcast, it was the BBC, sorry, after the games on Saturday, and they were saying we should temper our expectations on him, don't put pressure on him. It's like, why not? He seems like the kind of guy that can go in there, take that opportunity and absolutely thrive, and I'm a big fan of his, 100%. I think he'll have a big season, so.
Yeah, I hope he does. I must say, I do get that sentiment, whoever it was at the BBC. Great analysis. I do think he is young. It looked like there was a lot of excitement about him at the World Cup, and I don't think he had a fantastic few months at Kilmarnock, but I don't think he's going to win Rangers a league. I think he can certainly go in and contribute, but I'm not sure I see him being a starting, 30 plus starts this season for Rangers. Maybe 15, 20 starts contributing off the bench. I think he'll have an important, influential season, but I don't know if he's not going to be the main man as what I would expect. I would love to be wrong, because I think he's a brilliant player, and I think he has huge potential. And from a Scotland point of view, it would be great if he was, but I'm not sure I quite see him being there yet. But certainly he's put himself in a good position after a few months at Kilmarnock, and then obviously his experience out in the States during the World Cup as well. But Rangers have got they've made some sensible transfer decisions this summer. I think Derek McInnes will certainly he'll have them up for the fight, but just whether or not they quite have the sparkling of quality. If they keep a hold of Nico Raskin, which, for better or for worse, he will be hugely important to them, and I think if they keep a hold of him, they'll be in the discussion. But I think his stock has never been higher. So
show me the money.
I don't
He has a great World Cup as well, to be fair. So.
Well, exactly. So I don't know if you said to a Rangers fan right now, would you take £30 million for Nico Raskin, or would you take?
Take 20. Come on.
No, I'm saying obviously they'd take. But
right.
£30 million for him, or winning the league. I mean, obviously they're going to say winning the league, but I do. Someone like him could be the difference. And whether or not Rangers see that £30 million, if they can invest that in 2 or 3 other players, or they want to keep him for one more season and try and use him to win the league. I don't know. But what happens with him could be quite pivotal, I think. But yeah, they've had a productive transfer window. I don't know. Celtic have maybe, in terms of just star power, and quality. Celtic with their 2 signings so far, maybe just, well, certainly with Casper Hoch. No, I'm going to need to learn how to say that. He's the signing of the transfer window so far, I think. So I think he will play a significant part, and I think Celtic will just edge it. But we've completely just honed in on 2 teams here, and if last season is anything to go by, hopefully, or it might not be just 2 teams that are fighting out come the end of the season, and I'm sure Hearts, Aberdeen, Hibs, maybe even Motherwell, if they can continue their form from last season, will have a big say in it. But do either of you boys see any of them?
I mean,
towards the end of the season,
I think the only realistic conversation to have there, given where the clubs are, is that Hearts do at least deserve their mention, given what they did do last year, but given the quality lost and the amount of players that are going to have to be bedded in from different markets, a long way away, coming in from, players that have played in the lower tiers in France, in non-league football in England, there's going to be a bit of a settling in period, and you don't quite have that game-changing quality of Lawrence Shankland. You really, really did see Hearts relying on him so many times to change those games that could have been a 0-0 or a 1-1 and making it a 2-1 and getting 3 points for Hearts. That's the loss, and you probably saw it in Europe last week as well. We're obviously recording this episode before we know exactly what's happening in the second leg, but Hearts had decent moments in the first half of that game. Lawrence Shankland's on the pitch and the score goes to 1-1. It's a completely different game, and they don't lose that game 4-0 potentially. Well, obviously they wouldn't if they've scored a goal, but just losing out on that quality, I just don't think they'll have enough to keep up this year. I'd love to be shocked, love to be surprised. Big transition year, but I can just see the top 2 making that gap a little bit. But Hearts, in the time to come, it'll be a bit of a project, obviously, and a chance to bed in some fresh talent this year.
So I did see the amount of points that Hearts dropped when they didn't play Lawrence Shankland last year when he was out injured, and that just kind of spoke volumes of how pivotal he was to that team and for them winning games. Because I think they pretty much only picked up 3 points once or twice when
really
they were missing Lawrence Shankland.
Wow!
Which just in the shows, I think they picked up 6 points from the amount of games that he wasn't playing. So
how many was that just for?
Well, he missed a spell, didn't he? Sort of in the middle of the season, didn't he? So
2 months he was out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a bit. Yeah.
That's crazy.
And he missed Aberdeen away in November.
Yeah. No, I'm sure there's a few factors in there. Obviously, Cammy Devlin getting injured at the same time didn't help, but hey, they've lost both of them. So if we do want to move on, Luke, I'll let you have your sip of water there. And as our returning man, you get to choose our next category. Do you want to go to the bottom of the table, or do you want to go surprise package?
Let's go we'll just go straight to the bottom of the table.
Straight to the bottom of the table.
One side of the table to the next.
Right, last year, boys, we absolutely butchered this one. All 3 of us went for Dundee. We bought into the anti-hype of Stephen Presley's appointment. I think I was that close to going for Livingston last year. Fraser, I think you probably spoke me out of it. Something we'll touch on very soon. But we all said Dundee, and we all had egg on our faces. This year, who are we going for? My tip is going to be St Mirren.
I'm going to go for St Johnstone.
Yep. Callum, I am copying you again. I think I'm maybe going with the trend, going with the flow at the moment. It seems like everybody and their granny is tipping St Mirren to go down. I just worry for them. I do.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat there with that. Obviously, we are at a time of the year where there's been a lot of negativity around St Mirren, and maybe they'll make a few signings before the end of the window, and you look at it and it's different. But the players they have brought in, I think they're good players. Chris Mockery's a good player. Henry Fieldson's a good player. But I feel like they're good, really, really good championship players. You're almost looking at St Mirren adding players in that would be ready for the championship next year in a way. And there was a bit of a stink around them at the second half of last season, probably since the cup win. Craig McLeish didn't come in and really fill me with confidence the way he speaks, and obviously did the job just about keeping them up in the end in what could have been a tough game against Dunfermline. I thought they deserved to win it in the end, but Partick Thistle in the end, in that playoff game. but he just doesn't inspire me with confidence. I'm not entirely sure what it is. They do have talent in their squad. You still look, the core of Alex Gogic, Killian Phillips, Keone Bacchus if he gets himself fit. Mikael Mandron's had spells as well where he's been dangerous, but overall the players they brought in just don't fill me with enough confidence. With Craig McLeish, I'm not too sure if he'll see out the season. Just pure vibes there, really.
Well, my worry with that is you've name checked Killian Phillips. I've seen him. He's been rumoured with a move away.
Yeah.
I don't know whether it was to MLS. I think.
I've seen it. I can look at that. I can fact check that one for you whilst you give me your thoughts on St Mirren as well, there, Fraser.
Please do. No, please do. There's just I don't know what happened with St Mirren. They went from being in cloud nine back in was it December. Everything was rosy, playing good football.
Interest from 3 MLS clubs just come with my facts there. But St Mirren did a social media video of him killing Phillips on day one of Saints in Spain, so we'll see.
That's them. They're putting him in the shop window. No, I'm only joking. I hope. I mean, I know how much of a fan you are, Callum.
Yeah.
I hope for Scottish football's sake and for St Mirren's sake that he stays. But I wouldn't be overly surprised either if he was to move on for a good sum of money for them. But yeah, I quite like the appointment of Craig McLeish. I can see the thought process. I like the idea of going for someone new, someone young, hungry. But I just worry if it might backfire. Maybe if they stick with him and if they do go down to the Championship, it could be one of those St Johnstone situations where they go down, sort of clean out, start again, start fresh, and come back up with a new identity.
I just couldn't see him seeing out the season if they are in a relegation fight.
Yeah. I mean, that's quite an optimistic way of looking at things. I doubt it would go that way. But if you do look at, and based on what we have to look at so far from this season, it's the League Cup group stage. And St Mirren actually had a fairly decent group stage. They finished top of the pile in their group. You could, and Craig McLeish will certainly argue, and has argued, that the game was sort of shadowed by an iffy or a contentious referee decision, shall we say.
Hey, that's what happens when the referees play 200 games in goal for the scummy team. Yeah. I don't. Well,
that seems a little bit crazy. But then also, if you're going to discourage referees from taking part when they're ex-players, then it gets a bit difficult. But yeah, 200 appearances for a team that you're managing or refereeing in a game does seem a little bit of an interesting decision. But he will argue, they could have quite comfortably finished top of or they did finish top, but they could have won all 4 matches. And look, you're maybe onto something. I don't know whether it's based on the group stage of the League Cup, but St Johnstone had a bit of a stinker in what you could say is probably maybe the Canada, Switzerland, Qatar and Bosnia and Herzegovina group.
Czech Diabate's defending against East Fife. Oh my goodness. Oh, don't talk about that to me. Oh my goodness.
That was
what a shambles.
I was trying to. I'm looking at St Johnstone's poor pre-season / League Cup group stage, which is I feel like for the group that they were in, I feel like they should be picking up the results. Like they lost to Inverness. With all due respect, Inverness got promoted to the Championship, but I still don't think. I think that it should have been punching a wee bit more, and they've brought in all these players who, we go back to the Chris Mockery situation. They brought in good Championship players, young Championship players.
I like that approach, personally. I think that's an approach that a lot of teams.
He said this about Livingston last season.
I know, but I like that. Yeah, well, true. Actually, I did. Yeah, I'm basically saying I like this because this is what Ayr United have done in the tier below.
If we signed Chris Mockery, I'd be like, okay, I don't mind it. We'll see how he gets on. But yeah.
But when you sign him for a team like something,
yeah. I mean,
I think it will be between both these teams for the battle of who's going to be there.
I agree as well. I think my concern for St Johnstone is very similar to that conversation we're having about Lawrence Shanklin being the difference for Hearts winning games and not winning games last season. Is that Josh McPake was 100% that guy for St Johnstone as well. Like, he just had such a swagger and a confidence about him last season. Is losing him, who's going to step into that mould? There's an opportunity there. The reason I've just tipped St Johnstone maybe just to finish above St Mirren, I think it'll be close between the two of them. If I guess right now, is I just think they'll probably have a bit more of a buzz and a goodwill about them, where they're coming in not off the back of a stink, coming in off a bit of fresh momentum. Players like Jamie Gullen, big opportunity for players like him to show what you can do in the top flight. Logan Chalmers obviously coming in as a new player, but there's a lot of players in that squad you look at and think, they'll have a point to prove this year. Josh Fowler as well, especially the first half of the season he obviously had, where he was so good at Queen's Park, where they might just have enough to ride that momentum, but certainly question marks at this time. And also, it always felt like last season, St Johnstone was so good and they were a very dominant winner. Me and Fraser got roasted on TikTok for saying they weren't the most dominant champions there's ever been. But I think that's because all year there was sometimes just little clouds over Sima Valakari and his competency in the role and the play style. Obviously, he very much one of the fans by the end of the season, but I wouldn't be shocked if they go on a bad run and the question marks do sort of start to come again. Obviously, he's been relegated to them once as well. So we'll see how the season goes. I think they'll have enough about them to stay up personally, but it'll be an interesting season. And this is an easy one probably to make after you've seen them play 4 or 5 games, certainly.
Callum, in the background, I've been doing my research. I think just to back up our point, Mikael Mandron has left St Mirren.
Oh, has he? Okay.
Yeah, no, I thought I'd seen that, but
goodness.
he rejected a new contract, and he's on the radar of some English League One teams, I think.
That's
so.
poor from me.
Just another
transfer marked. You have blood on your hands.
But he's left. So it's just another reason why I think that's a big player for St Mirren. Tells Lundulu. Conor McMenamin's away, Miguel Freckleton away for an undisclosed fee. So Mark O'Hara, a leader, leaving for Kilmarnock. I just think there's been a lot of big players leaving St Mirren this summer, and I do worry. Just as you say, you're talking about one team's coming up with the momentum of winning a title and one team's staying up with.
Different trajectories, isn't it? Exactly.
They did fantastic, buoyed by the fact that they fought well against Partick Thistle to stay up, but it does feel like there's an inevitability about this season and where St Mirren will be. So I hope for their sake that we're proven wrong, but that's for why I've gone for St Mirren. But I can see, looking at results against Inverness and East Fife, St Johnstone fans might be a little bit nervous as well, but they've made like Logan Chalmers coming in as an exciting signing. So certainly it'll be it's one of those ones I wouldn't confidently put any money on either team to go down, but I would be hedging my bets on the two, I think.
Yeah, I think that's the debate. So, sorry, Luke, finish off there.
I was going to say, going back to your point, Fraser, about St Mirren's drop off from December to the end of the season. Sorry, that's kind of just I had thought about, because one of my mates is a St Mirren fan and I always hear about their woes. The reason, he always said that their reason for the drop off was they were just plagued from injuries from that minute on after the League Cup. I don't know how reputable, how big the injuries impacted their team, but yeah, that was. He said that was a big part of their fall off.
I thought you were going to say how you don't know how reputable his analysis was.
I think that's kind of what he meant by that. I think that's what Luke's suggesting. His pal steaming at every game.
Yeah,
giving us his opinions.
I'll apologise to Mark for that then, because I feel like he'll get.
Is this just the post-match drunken ramblings of your mate, or is this?
No, this is actually post fives analysis. So
that's often where the best analysis comes out, after the pub or after fives. Both work. But boys, right, we are approaching the half-hour mark, which I think we'll try to stick to. We're flying over this podcast, but we've got lots to talk about. We will move on onto the surprise package. Now, last year, 2 people in the room, I think they get a big pat on the back.
Oh wow!
This is one of the good things about having Luke back one of the many good things, of course, is we get to react to what we did last year. Now we've got all three of us. And last year, surprise packages. Luke, I think at the time we probably said, oh, get a load of this guy. Heart of Midlothian, he was pretty spot on with that one. Surprise package for Callum, Falkirk FC. Surprise package for Fraser was Livingston. So hopefully a better tip to come this year, Fraser.
Honking, absolutely honking.
I think the two of us did alright on that one.
Can I give myself my pat in the back?
Of course you can.
Fair play.
Well earned. My surprise package this year then is going to be Kilmarnock. The two of you?
I'm going for Hibernian.
Nice, I like it. Well, I had wrote down two. I had mentioned Kelly along with yourself, Callum.
Yep.
But I think I'm going to go with Motherwell. Which I have a feeling they're not going to like. People are thinking they're not going to have the season that they had last year, because last year I thought they were incredible. They played some nice football.
Like expectations gone a wee bit, hasn't it? Completely, I'm sure.
It's gone
just
a wee
given
bit,
the players they've lost.
They've lost Elijah Just to Swansea. That is the one that comes to my head.
Elliot Watt as well, yeah.
Elliot Watt, yeah. But then they have also brought in good players as well. Like they lost Callum Ward to QPR, and then they've brought in Alex Paulson from Bournemouth to replace him, the New Zealand international goalkeeper. I think that's a great move for them. So I think, depending on how they get on in Europe, I think that's on Thursday, I think they could actually have a not too bad season.
Yeah, I'm sure obviously a lot of expectation drops off. Interest manager appointment, going down sort of a similar route in terms of, not going for a domestic candidate, and Alex Larry's coming in, interest in signing Luke. Do you think top six could be on the cards again, or? I
think they will be around the top six. I don't think it will be kind of top four. I don't think they'll reach the heights of top four, but I think they will be in contention for European football yet again, to be honest.
Yeah.
The signing of Alex Lowry, I'm interested to see how he does, considering he didn't really hit the ground running when he went to Hearts. He got a last-minute equaliser against Kelly in the League Cup.
Oh yeah.
But that was really the only kind of moment that I thought he looks like a player. You know what I mean? So I think it'll be an interesting one for Motherwell, and see how he'll adapt to their new managers.
No, I think it's interesting. You do look at Motherwell and the sum of their parts last year. They had 1 to 11. So many players contributing to that team. Obviously, a few players deservedly took the headlines at times, but they've still got the core of that squad, and it'll be interesting to see how they kick on. Fraser, another team looking top six, I'm sure. They'll be disappointed if they don't make it, is Hibs. And I presume you're saying surprise package, you think they'll be comfortably top six, looking up the way? I
do. I think if any team, now this isn't really to discount Hearts, but I do think if there's going to be another team that's going to split the old firm, that could split the old firm this season, I think Hibs could feasibly be there or thereabouts. And I said at the end of last season, and again, this was not a slight on Hearts, but I said at the end of last season, I think that Hibs are actually, or were man for man, as good a team as Hearts, or close to Hearts in quality.
Wow, that's a big take.
And it is, and I understand Hearts had, a couple of outliers in terms of Braga and Shankland.
Game-changing players, yeah.
Cammy Devlin. But across the piece, across the squad, I think Hibs are, man for man, almost as good as Hearts. And I think this season they've got a wee bit more continuity. They brought in Jason Kerr, who's obviously a very good centre half that we've seen in the past. And they've got Owen Elding up front, who I think will go on to have a great career, and was just getting started at the end of last season. They've signed on Martin Boyle for this season as well, and Josh Mulligan's coming back, and
he's
will
huge for them,
a huge impact on their season. So I just think when you look at the teams that could potentially, challenge the old firm for whether it's second place or first place, I think Hibs are in a strong position. Hearts are in a very strong position too, but they maybe don't quite fit the surprise package category.
So you've got the faith in David Gray as well. There's always been, I feel like, the odd question at times, big results, potentially probably being what's let him down at times. But you think you've got faith in him to be the man to bring joy to Hibs fans again?
I do. I think the players love him. He's maybe, I'm sort of going with this analysis off the back of a 2-0 loss to Malasheva in Kosovo. So he's maybe not got a huge amount of credit in the bank at the moment, David Gray, amongst Hibs fans. But we've seen big teams in Scotland have sort of calamitous performances out in Europe in July. So I don't think it's the end of the world. I think they can quite comfortably win on Thursday against Malasheva at home.
This will be out after, so...
I know, well, oh God. Yeah, cut this bit if it goes that way. But I think David Gray's shown he's a good manager. I think at times last season he matched every team in the league. They beat Celtic. They beat Rangers as well.
They beat Rangers at Ibrox as well, Fraser.
Yeah, they competed with Hearts, maybe not as much as they would have liked to, but they did beat Hearts as well during the season. So they can do it. They showed that they could do it, and I think now this season you could argue that they've sort of strengthened their squad. And if they can make one or two more signings, I think they genuinely have the quality to be right up there. So that's why I've got them down as my surprise package. Whether or not they'll truly, get to the heights of where Hearts got to last season, I'm not sure. But I do think that they maybe going under the radar at the moment. Hearts they're the third force in Scotland now. There's no doubt about it after last season. So Hibs are sort of, the expectation is, can they come fourth? Is it fourth or fifth for them? I wouldn't be overly surprised if they were to finish higher than that. So yeah, I'm excited to see how they get on, especially excited to see how some of their players get on as well. And that's why I've gone for them as my surprise package.
Nice.
Yeah,
I think there is always questions on David Gray, there are always questions on David Gray all throughout the season. He always does have some Hibs fans crawling from his head, even when the going's good for them, to be fair. So, but
yeah, I think as you get to the end of the season and the games people remember, Dunfermline in the Cup, the derbies, just not getting enough big results in the big games, which are the ones people remember. But obviously they did get big results at, I think, Ibrox and Celtic Park last season, didn't they? I think they picked up the wins. So, I guess when it's the games that people really want to remember are those derbies and Scottish Cup runs and stuff. So need some big results soon. But do you guys mind if I take my team then to finish us off in this section?
Go for it.
Take it.
All right. Fraser's been you're trying to avoid it. Me saying Kilmarnock having a good season. I'm sorry, but it's my pick. And I do say make this pick. I see the airbag, don't worry. I make this pick on the back of what has been a weird cup campaign for them, where I think they did get a fair bit of stick. They obviously got through, but only scoring 2 goals in a group, which obviously had lower league opposition in it, in Elgin, Hamilton and Rovers as well. We had a 0-0 draw. They did top the group with those 2 goals. That's all they needed at the end of the day. And, they did get a bit of stick for that. But I really do think you look at their defence and it will stand them up well. They've got a very solid back line, keeping Robbie Dees. I think George Stange is going to have a huge season. I really think he's going to come of age a little bit. Only 15 appearances last season in the Premiership, injuries at times. But Fraser got me on that sort of hype train a while back. And I'm sure if the World Cup was at the end of this season, he would have been playing for New Zealand. I think that's how good a year he'll have this year. And he's just, got the build and the size for it. Larson, their left back as well. I think he's a tremendous player as well. Going to have a big season, and you see it. They kept 4 clean sheets in their 4 games, and it all starts at the back with Max Strike as well, who with his poor health last season, it's great to see him back playing, back fit, and I think consistency of teams trying to push out of that bottom 6. We'll start with a good goalkeeper, and they've certainly got that. Concerns about them scoring goals. Tyrese John Jules back at the club. It was a huge signing for them. The form he was in before he got injured. Then obviously they brought in Joe Hugo as well, who had such a good end to the season. And the two of them, if they can link up and be a partnership this year as well, there'll be goals there. Quality in the team. Ante Schibler as well, who's had such a good run as a Kelly player. And they're obviously being led by Neil McCann as well, who's a manager that I do really like. And I think he nurtures young players well and kicks them on individually. Just look at Finlay Curtis, who is a big loss for them. Of course he is, but I think you can easily forget he spent time at Kilmarnock playing at right back last year. You know, it's not like they've lost a huge wealth of the attacking players they had in just losing Finlay Curtis, that is. They had ways of winning games last season, even if he wasn't playing in that front line, still contributing wherever he was playing. But they've still got so much quality up there. And that defensive core to start it off, probably a few additions to come into the mix, I'm sure. Obviously, only scoring 2 goals in the League Cup's not the ideal way to start it off, but I do think they could have a good season under Neil McCann, looking up towards that, being an outside shout for that top 6, but I think they'll be comfortable of the teams at the bottom.
Sorry, Luke, I thought you might come in there. I'm trying to stay as silent as possible in this segment, but
Can tell.
no, I do agree. I'm kind of torn on where I stand on Kelly, to be honest. I think they will have, as you say, I think they will have a good season. I think they'll be, around sort of 6th to 8th. I wouldn't be surprised if they were to finish around there. I don't think they've quite got the quality to challenge the bigger boys. But I certainly don't think they'll be down the bottom. I like Neil McCann a lot. I like the players that they brought in last season. Some units, as you talk about, Callum, and then Bailey Rice as well, almost kind of like Finlay Curtis 2.0. So yeah, I think they will be fine. I think definitely didn't set the head of the light in the League Cup. However, a lot of the good teams in history, Spain, for example, don't score buckets of goals, but they don't.
That's a mad comparison there you jumped to.
I was just about to say that. I never thought I'd hear Kilmarnock and Spain getting compared.
Well, just to emphasise the point, team, you don't need to score goals to be a successful team. If you stay solid at the back, don't concede, you'll always be there or thereabouts. And Kelly in this instance only scored twice, but they didn't concede, and they qualified for the next round. So it was effective, and I think under Neil McCann they'll play attacking football. Very, very exciting round of 16.
Bring it on! Huge, looking forward to that. But I mean, my last thing I'd say on Kelly, I did want to add though, was that that strike force of Joe Hugo and John Jules, actually throughout their entire team. Maybe this is me just being a wee Championship fan here, but actually seeing them play up close in person, you're like, oh my God, they are units, man. Maybe every Premiership club's the same, but I mean, even at the end of the game, obviously doing my job that I do now, I was talking to Callum Fordyce, the Rave centre back. I said that to him. I was like, I didn't realise how big their players are, and to be fair to Callum, he dealt with them really well. He's a big centre back himself, but he was like, yeah, they are units. They're big lads, and it was a 0-0 draw on the day, so I kept them quiet. But they do have some strength and size throughout that team as well, and I think they'll be a strong force.
Yeah, not quite as tall as old Marcus Dackers, but
aye. But I
Was he 6'7"?
I think.
But fall over in a gust of wind, that guy.
But John Jules in particular, he was one of those players at the end of last season who thought that's a proper find by Kelly. Bit of an athlete, but technically good as well. So and when you've got a player like that, I've just been saying how you don't need to score too many goals if you keep it tight at the back, but they can and they will, I'm sure, with him. So if they're going to keep it tight at the back and they've got players like John Jules up front, then I think Kelly can have a good season. We'll go no further than that.
Right, boys. We will finish off as well then with player to watch. I think we'll run through these ones quickly, as you might be able to. I'm still in the office. I need to get out of here before it's too late. Player to watch, boys. Pat on the back, all 3 of us. All right, we did a great job last year. Do you boys remember who you said? I don't remember any of these.
I think I said Braga.
Claudio Braga. Luke Maguire did say Claudio Braga. Great pick. Fraser?
I haven't a clue.
Finlay Curtis. Finlay Curtis. You resisted. You did say Finlay Curtis. Yeah.
I don't even remember.
Don't seem so shocked. You were just there, torn up between Conor McLennan and Finlay Curtis.
We must have recorded that after, was it Panathinaikos at Ibrox?
Yeah, it would have been. Yeah,
I think that must have been my...
Did he get a goal in that game?
He scored in that game. I did watch that, so I wonder if I was if I was impressed, I obviously was.
I think it would have been. And then I put Kieran Bowie down as well, who obviously ended up having quite a good season too, I think.
Not bad.
And himself a big move.
I did half of a season.
Oh, and he went to Italy and done all right for himself. So
yeah, he's linked with some big clubs. So yeah, well done, guys.
well done to all of us. No pressure then. Who are the picks this year? I've realised I've gone for a very sort of similar pick. I've gone for Kieran Bowie's replacement in many ways in Owen Elding. I've stole that one from Fraser as well. I know you're thinking of him, but who did you go for in the end?
So I've gone for Joe Bevan of Dundee FC. I believe in Elvis to get the best out of him.
Love that. And Luke Maguire?
I went for Falkirk's latest signing, literally as of today when we record, then Joe Gardner from Nottingham Forest.
I like it. Gone a bit different there, the two of you. I've gone for maybe a bit more of an obvious one potentially, but I'll start off Owen Elding. 20 years old, obviously came in January, and obviously had to fill the gap of Kieran Bowie in the team at Hibs last year, and they brought Dane Scarlett in as well, and they sort of shared that responsibility throughout last season. And I think you saw in flashes what Owen Elding can do, even if he wasn't playing 90 minutes week in, week out. That you could see, there's a lot of ability here, and fantastic piece of business, in my opinion, by Hibs to bring him in, because he was obviously absolutely on fire, in his last bit of his spell over in Ireland. So big addition for them. I think he'll be an Ireland international as well, some point this season, towards the end of the season. Probably not crazy to say that as well, but 6'2", he's got the mould of a modern striker, and big year ahead.
Yeah, no, I think he has been called up by Ireland already. I'm not sure if he was capped, but there's a bit of a tug of war. I don't know whether it's a manufactured tug of war. Apparently England were sniffing about.
Well, I think he's always wanted to play for Ireland, but he had to get Irish citizenship because he's English born and he moved when he was a kid. But you're all right. He's been involved in their friendlies, so in preparations for the friendlies. Sorry, maybe in that sort of we've seen Tyle Fletcher obviously was as well. Andy Todd sort of vibe. They're giving call-ups to anyone these days, I tell you. But Owen Elding, big year ahead, and Fraser, I know you're a fan of his as well. Only the 3 goals since joining in January, but I don't think it's just the goals. He's got a lot about him.
Yeah, he's obviously, I think he's left-footed, but you can tell the way he plays. He's equally as adept on his right as he is with his left. He's physical, as you say. He is a unit. He's what you want in a striker, or is what I would want in a striker. He's tall, he's physical, but he's quick as well. It's not like he's not like Akinfenwa, where his physicality weighs him down. He's got speed. He's very mobile. Clearly got a good striker's brain on him as well. I think the goal he scored in 13 seconds against Kelly at Easter Road. I actually watching that, because when you watch the sort of the clips of it, it says Owen Elding scores in 13 seconds. So I immediately try and find Owen Elding to see what his movement is for that 13 seconds. And every single time I watch the wrong player, and just because I'm looking at the player that I think it's going to be, but it's not. He sort of sneaks in, finds the space, the ball comes through. He's one touch finish. So he's got that ability. He's great. He's also, few of his goals that he scored for Sligo Rovers were absolute screamers as well. So he can score from outside the box as well. So for me, he was sort of one of the reasons why I wanted to choose him, is because I believe that Hibs will have a big season, and I think he will be key to that.
Yeah, I think if he starts scoring, he gets on a little run, he's more than capable of really getting those numbers up in terms of goal scoring. So I think we're in full agreement on that one. Fraser, do you want to give your pick? Joe Bevan, I like that one as well. A player that sort of followed for quite a while from his days playing in the Lowland League, and suddenly the dizzy heights have signed for Burnley, finds his way back to Scotland with Dundee last year, and you think this year might be a bit of a breakout for him after a sort of bedding in period. Fair to say, maybe second half of last season?
Yeah, this is another one similar to Owen Elding, young player, similar attributes. More obviously
unit.
Yeah, unit. Serious height, Scottish as well, which is always an added bonus for us. But tall player, a direct winger, just loves to run by players, which a lot of players don't often do these days. I watched a few of the sort of Dundee's highlights from the League Cup group stage, and I would love to see the stats. I find there's fewer stats from the League Cup group stage as there is for the average game in Scottish football, so it's harder to sort of come by. But based on my own stats, Joe Bevan had 74 shots in the group stage. But
some end product though, some unproduct.
With some end product, yeah, he scored twice and assisted twice. So if he can he's almost like a bit of a Ben Gannon Doe. If he can just tweak, add a little bit of polish to his end product, then I think he'll be a seriously influential player for them. I like the fact as well that under Presley last season, a lot of the success that Dundee had was down the wings with Jogan and Cammy Congreve.
Yeah.
I don't know if he was actually called Cammy. I've just given him that name. Cameron
No, I
Congreve.
think it is Cammy.
So it's pals.
But Joe Bevan now, they've obviously moved on. He is going to get game time, and I think Stephen Presley will be looking to him to supply the same kind of product that those two players did. And I think based on what I've seen from the group stage of the League Cup, I think he will do that. So I'm excited to see how he gets on. Also, a little nugget just for our lower league fan base. Callum,
Flying here, yeah.
You'll like this.
I'm ready.
He assisted Charlie Riley.
Oh.
Callum, you can tell our viewers what the link is there. Obviously, everyone will know, being as educated as they are on the Scottish Lowland League, but.
Well, any Albion Rovers fans out there will be buzzing to see that, because the two of them were teammates for half a season when at the latter end of Charlie Riley's career with Albion Rovers and the start of Joe Bevan's when they were both playing in Scottish League 2. And Charlie Riley had his crazy season, which got his move to Dundee, and we're finally starting to see him bed into the Dundee team a bit, and obviously Joe Bevan reunited with him in January. So what a little link up that is. And Joe Bevan's a player that we've seen for a while as well, just to say as well. And there was a game on the BBC, people might remember, in the Scottish Cup, and I was showing you the guys that goal just as a bit of a reminder before, where he took on the whole starting Albion team and wrapped into the top corner. And I think the thing about him that made him look a little bit special, certainly for a Lowland League player, very special, is that the first thing you noticed about him was the size and the frame and the speed that he had for a winger, which is I'm sure coaches all across the country are thinking, I'd love the chance to work with someone like that has these attributes. And then you see him score a goal like that, and you're like, oh, maybe he does have something real special about him that he can do. So, yeah, a tremendous pick-up from you there, Fraser. Hopefully he does kick on, and I love that little nugget you gave us at the end. High ceiling, do you think he can kick on definitely in his career as well? He's still young as well.
Well, he's 22. He's been playing, he's obviously been playing at a good level. It's not, proper senior football down in Burnley, but there's a lot of good quality down there. We've seen instances of players taking a little bit longer to make it to the senior game.
Well, I was just going to say, Kieran Bowie, kicked off the Rafe team when he was 16, got his move to Fulham, and sort of we didn't see him for a few years, but you see the progress he made.
Yeah, exactly. And, I name-checked him already, but if you just look at last season in Dundee and Cammy Congreve and Jogan, these players, I don't know if am I saying it right? Is it Jogan? Yeah.
Jogan, yeah.
These players had such an influential season in Dundee. And they've gone on, Jogan's signed for Aberdeen. Cammy Congreve will most likely be getting game time for his club down south. So,
down in Swansea.
Wales international now as well, yeah.
So I think looking at that, there's absolutely no reason why Joe Bevan. It's maybe early to say, but it's an area that we don't have, blinding talent in. So. Whisper it quietly, but I wouldn't be surprised if he was knocking on the door of a Scotland club. If he has a good couple of seasons. I know that we're a long way from it, but based on his blistering pace, I would love to see that come to fruition.
Soundbite that. Last pick then, coming from our Lukey man over here in the corner. Joe Gardner signing for Falkirk. I thought this was a loan deal when you first spoke to us about it. 3-year deal. And John McGlynn certainly seems to be a man that has his eye on sort of the developmental leagues, the Premier League 2. He's keeping a close eye on it, and the loan players he got in were so important. And obviously, I'm sure he's kept an eye on Joe Gardner and potentially another market, as we mentioned there, that John McGlynn is going to take full advantage of this year. Yeah,
which I find it quite interesting, the fact that he's taking advantage of that market, considering he kind of had a strategy where he was bringing in a lot of players that he'd worked with in the past.
Yeah.
So it's interesting to see that he's kind of branching out and being a wee bit more adventurous now.
Ooh, yeah, I don't know if the 2021 Red Rovers squad's going to really help Falkirk kick on in the top 6 chase once he's not got already. So let's see what Manny Duke is up to.
So it'd be nice to see like these kind of like refreshing young talents coming up, and I feel like he always gives them that platform to kind of kick on. And like you look at Barney Stewart, you look at Calvin Miller, you look at what they've went on to do. So I think a 3-year deal as well. I think it shows the intent that he is a real talent, and I've not seen him play. I've heard high praise of that he has a good talent and that he can bring a lot to Falkirk, and being 6'2" in height is quite exceptional, to be fair.
For an attacking midfielder.
Yep.
Yeah, if he's making late runs into the box,
Just kid on, you've seen him play. Tell us about that little interplay he had for
Seen him
Mansfield,
seen him play
Lincoln.
for Nottingham Forest, and they're under 23s and player.
Beautiful. Beautiful touch in the ball, unique.
You think for 6'2" he'd have quite a heavy touch, but no.
Oh, brilliant.
Softest.
Great analogy.
I love that though. All you had to say to me was like 6'1", 6'2", attack midfielder. Nah, I'm sold. You could have any touch he wants. Late runs into the box. But, no, great to get someone in like that as well, because he signed Ben Parkinson as well, didn't he, in January, McGlynn? Which was a permanent deal from Newcastle, like the development side of things at Newcastle, and looks like he's a bit of a player as well. So
yeah, it was unfortunate last season as well. With he got injured quite early on into his time at Falkirk. Because I remember
and then
watching
Barney Stewart made the shot his, didn't he, after that as well? So.
Yeah. So I remember seeing Ben Parkinson play against Hearts at Tynecastle in the Scottish Cup.
Oh yeah.
And just seeing I think he's another one, to be fair, you can put in that same bracket of a player to watch, because his runs into the box looked
at least we've
nice,
seen him play a game as well. So
yeah, it helps that I've actually seen him play. But yeah, he did. He looked good. He looked good last season, just before he got injured. So he'll have a big season. Leading the line for Falkirk. So.
Really good business bringing players like that. We know McGlynn can develop these guys in McGlynn. We trust as well, of course. So I don't mind that pick at all, boys. Premiership season, it's almost underway again. Any final thoughts? We'll be there one day.
What do you mean? Oh, we'll be there. Oh, I think.
Yeah. We started by saying we're free championship men, so.
Yeah. And we'll all progressively move up together.
Yes.
At some stage.
I don't know. Listen, Callum. I'm optimistic. Don't know about you.
I know you are. I'm looking forward to the season.
I'm very excited to see how this season goes. I'm hoping. I'm praying to the SPFL gods. If anyone out there can have an impact on the outcome of this season, just let there be another, at least just a third force again, because that was glorious, absolutely glorious. I was talking just today actually. There's an English guy in my work, big Chelsea fan. He was talking about his fantasy football, and he asked me, which I find quite funny, like, do you watch the English league? And I was like, I feel like if you're a football fan, everyone kind of does, at least in some capacity. So I was like, well, yeah, but actually, I just wasn't that arsed about it last season. There was just no, I wasn't, so, in previous seasons, I'd be more excited to watch Match of the Day than I would Sports Scene, just depending on, Sports Scene could be, is it going to be 3-0 or 4-0 to Celtic and Rangers this weekend? not last season. 100% fully invested in the Premiership. And I'm hoping it's the same again, because teams like Falkirk, Hearts, Motherwell just made that so exciting last season. And I think there's potential again for it to repeat itself. And hopefully, Aberdeen, Hibs, Hearts will have a big impact on where the trophy ends up. Who knows?
I think that's pretty much the first mention of Aberdeen. We're 59 minutes into a Scottish Premiership podcast, which sums it up. So I'm not too confident.
Kevin Nisbet was on my radar for a player to watch, but not wholly exciting based on the fact that he's 29. But
well, we'll wait and see. And hopefully, I agree. Just a big season ahead. minimal talk of referees and all that stuff again this year, ideally. But I think it'll be an entertaining season, hopefully. So,
Give us, just because I've enjoyed your little sort of recap to last season, I didn't know you were doing that, so that was a nice surprise. But given I enjoyed that so much, can you give us just a 1 to 4 quickly? Look, you as well.
Top four.
In order.
Oh, okay.
Nail your colours to the mast.
Celtic, Rangers, Hearts. Not good airtime here.
Okay,
boring. I'll just say Hibs. I'll be boring, but no, I don't think Hibs. I actually don't think Hibs. Give me a minute. Come back to me. Come back.
Okay, look, go for it.
What is it? So top four.
Top four. Go.
Right.
Snap it.
Okay. Rangers, Hearts, Celtic, Motherwell.
That is just what the doctor ordered. I'm going Celtic, Rangers, Hibs, Hearts. And I think Aberdeen will be a close fifth, but that wasn't
Tasty.
part of the remit. Callum, go on.
Just based off nothing, just to be different, be a different guy. Given I mentioned this late in the podcast, I'll go Celtic, Rangers, Hearts. I'll say Dundee United, just for a laugh.
We society to ship them to European football.
It's going to happen, yeah.
Good. I hope we've not even mentioned him, but he was another one that was on the radar, but whether he'll get too much game time. But with this new rule, who knows? But we society to cause it for Dundee United up front.
That was just a complete random shout from me there, so we'll see how that comes in. Luke, it's been a pleasure to have you back, my friend. It was natural.
Thank you for having
me. It was like riding a bike, having you back on, Luke, and it's going to be an enjoyable season to come with you.
Can't wait.
You back in the team, my friend. So
buzzing.
What a signing!
Huge addition. Player to watch this season,
in here
Luke
we go.
McGuire. And you know what? Just because he's back, Luke, you invented it. You made it famous. Do you want to have the last words of the podcast?
Don't go changing.
Oh, got to do the bit before as well. Do the bit before. You do the bit before, Fraser.
Joga Bonito is finito.
Don't go changing.